Welcome to another episode of the Three Frosted Mugs, a Fiat Entertainment Group production. I'm Rodney, and here with me is Chad.
Hello, Steven.
Hello, Chad. And we are missing a third mug today, but Chad and I will pick up the slack. But we do have our producer, Matt, here with us.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Matt. And as always, thank you to AJ Studios for the post-production and graphics work for the show. All right, well, let's get right into it. We like to start out by doing a little recap of last week's games in the NFL. Kind of talk about what surprised us, what we took away from those games. Let's start with Thursday, because Thursday was a complete debacle.
That was a drumming. Usually, you see a lot of, blowouts in NFL, but never do you see one team at any point in the game down 56-0. It's embarrassing. Georgia, they beat a team over the weekend 66-0. Okay, you figure that, them to do that against a terrible college football team, but never in the NFL, especially a Lovie Smith coach team. Somebody should have lost their job for that one.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Well, as I'm sitting there watching it, I kind of felt really bad for Lovie Smith because, like you just said, you wouldn't think that with his team. He's a defensive-minded coach. Of all of the aspects of the team, defense was not one you thought was going to be an issue.
Exactly.
And it certainly was. It made the Falcons look superb.
Yeah, even if you have a bad defensive game, all right, you give up 40 points. Okay. But you don't give up 56. And another team is scoring that much, you're going to have the ball a lot. You're at least going to put some points, you would hope, up on the board. It was just all around terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was it's so funny. I was just messing around on Facebook when it was on, and someone that I'm friends with had written on there, "Why can't we be like the Falcons?" referring to the Redskins. And my response was, after a bunch of barrage from Cowboys fans and whatever else fan is around here, I said, "Well, we were last week." And then the response was, "That was the Jaguars. They suck." And I said, "Well, are you watching this game? Because Tampa Bay sucks pretty bad right now."
Yeah, Tampa's not any better.
I would say they are a step above the Jags, but they're pretty darn close to being the Jags.
Yeah, they're bad. Well, they're both 0-3, so they're both in the same boat. They're both battling right now to see who's going to have the number one pick next year.
Yeah. So, well, let me ask you then. So, does that take away from what the Falcons did? Are they not nearly as good as they displayed themselves to be because of their opponent?
No, the Falcons are good. What it does show you is week 2 they went into Cincinnati, and Cincinnati pretty much held them down. They scored a lot of points against the Saints in week 1. Cincinnati pretty much held them in check week 2, and then they score a lot of points on the Bucs. So the Saints don't have a good defense. So that it's kind of, you really want to see them. When they play a good team again, you really want to see what they have, because right now they're kind of giving you some ups and downs. But that's a testament to me, is saying how good Cincinnati was to hold that team down. Another big surprise that I'll take away out of the NFC is the Packers.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit on our Fantasy Focus show as far as Eddie Lacy being a disappointment. Aaron Rodgers was a disappointment. The only person that did good on a fantasy standpoint was Corliss, the tight end. But all in all, that team right now is struggling.
It's really surprising. Because what they lost Rodgers last season in like week 3 or 4, didn't they? When he broke his collarbone.
I think it was a little bit more in, but it was still fairly,
It was still pretty early on in the season.
Yep.
He was able to come back later on and take them on to a few more wins. And did they make the playoffs last year? They made the playoffs last year, right?
No, Green Bay did not.
They did not make the playoffs. Okay. But this is not what you expected. Starting out with a healthy Rodgers.
Well, and then their schedule doesn't get any easier. They go to Chicago, and Chicago's playing good. They're home against Minnesota. You figured they'd win that one. Then they go to Miami, they're up and down, but they're decent. Carolina, New Orleans, Chicago, Philly, Minnesota, New England. It's going to be a true test right now for Green Bay to see what they're made of. Their offense is 21st in passing yards, 27th in rushing yards. They really need to find something. What they need to do is run the ball. Just hand it to Eddie Lacy. Let him do his thing to open some stuff up. Let Aaron Rodgers get in that groove. And once Aaron Rodgers get in that groove, let him go.
Well, I just would like to bring up that interesting point a lot of Green Bay Packers fans are making on Twitter right now. Don't know if you know this. Aaron Rodgers is, I understand it, dating Olivia Munn, actress from the show Newsroom.
Olivia, so not 13 from House? That's Olivia Wilde, right?
That's Olivia Wilde. Yeah, not Olivia Wilde. No, either one would be a great pickup as girlfriend. But yeah, no, it's Olivia Munn. And a lot of Packers fans are calling for Aaron Rodgers to dump his girlfriend because they feel like she is the problem.
It adds up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about all that. I know some great performers and athletes in sports have said, you don't want distractions. But quite honestly, I didn't even know they were dating. So that's kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed she's not Olivia Wilde.
Well,
who dates her? That's Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess that goes to show you that comedy just trumps all, because he is hilarious, but he is not. I mean, I always equate people to Brad Pitt. I don't know why I do that, but he's no Brad Pitt.
That shows you it pays to be funny.
It does pay to be funny. I guess I'm just not funny enough. But anyway.
Yeah, you're not funny because you're not dating Olivia Wilde. If you were funny, you would date Olivia Wilde.
You got to have a hot girlfriend to know how funny you are.
You're a failure.
I'm such a failure.
I guess another thing we can take away, we'll talk about the Washington Redskins a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think about Captain Kirk?
Man, okay, well, we obviously didn't win, but I would say that it didn't end up either way that people were predicting. Most people were predicting either the Redskins would lose pretty terribly to the Eagles just because of they become a train. They became a force to reckon with, and you can't stop them sometimes. But we proved the opposite. We held LaShawn McCoy down. He never really got going, and we were able to keep pretty much throw for throw with them. The only thing that really took us down, I mean, we let a big run go right after we scored our first touchdown, I believe. We let them have that huge return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me was the main difference. As far as the offense was performing, pretty darn good. And I got to tell you, in my gut, I feel less nervous with the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands than I do with RG3. Because I feel like since they eliminate that run option, Kirk has no other option. It's either make your reads. Yeah, it's either make your reads and throw the ball to your reads, or get rid of the ball. It's simple as that.
Well, he looks. I mean, he's more confident of where he wants to go with the ball. He looks like he's running Gruden's offense the way Gruden wants it to be run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he continues this up, I mean, I think there's no way RG3 sees the field again. My only question is, all right, let's say Cousins proves himself to be, the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just role reversal? Then is RG3 Kirk Cousins backup, or do you start trying to shop RG3?
Man,
I mean, that's something right there that, down the line, Washington's going to have to start thinking about.
Yeah. I mean, I go for the latter and shopping him around, maybe trying to pick up some, valuable draft picks.
Then you're definitely all in with Kirk Cousins.
But you know what? I kind of feel comfortable. With that. I mean, not nothing against RG3. I like RG3. I like positivity. I like the idea that he is a freak athlete. But, I read somewhere where I can't remember who it was that said it. Some analyst recommended that he go and see a sports psychologist.
I'd seen that too. Yep.
Yeah, which I think would help. I mean, look at Roy McAvoy. It worked. It worked for him and Tin Cup.
Yeah, so. Roy McAvoy. What was Cheech's name in that? Do you remember?
Oh man,
come on, you know what it is.
Oh my gosh,
Romeo.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I should know that. Been writing that sequel all this time.
What was this? What was Roy McAvoy's favorite club?
The 7 Iron.
Of course.
Broke every one of them but the 7 Iron.
The trusty 7.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I took away that we are a team that could actually do pretty well this year, and I think that obviously Kirk's not the entire team. Everyone was performing to a great level. Now, what sucks, and what we're going to find out later, we lost D. Hall. He's injured. He's done.
That's going to be big because the secondary in Washington is a little thin.
Yeah, I mean, we can stop the run for the most part.
And you'd almost have to figure Brandon Merriweather's going to do something dumb and cost himself a couple games to be out.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I feel that poor kid, man.
Washington's offense is going to revolve around Alfred Morris.
I hope so.
I mean, as good as Kirk Cousins played, that's fine and dandy. He's going to go through his ups and downs, but the ball needs to go through Alfred Morris. The way that kid runs, I mean, you're going to have to hand Alfred Morris the ball a lot. Got a good backup there, in Halou. I mean, their offensive line surprised me how good they're playing, but I think ultimately that running game is going to have to get going and then let Kirk Cousins do his thing.
I agree with you. I mean, look at teams like Seattle. That's what they do. A lot of their focus is through their run for the most part. Then they build out to their passing. And if Kirk Cousins can perform like Russell Wilson can as far as managing a game, making correct decisions, I think this Redskin team is going to have a pretty positive year this year. They might not make the playoffs. They're definitely not going to win the Super Bowl, but you got to look at it from a realistic standpoint. It's a big leap. It really is.
Yep, they can definitely cause some trouble, that's for sure.
What about the Cowboys and the Rams? I mean, good grief, that was something that it looked like Cowboys had no chance.
Well, we were sitting there watching it. We were all over in the garage, my house, watching the football games, and you look up at the score. It wasn't on TV. I don't have the ticket. So you kind of look up there. All of a sudden, it's 7-0. Okay, whatever. 14-0. 21-0. It's like, I mean, what is going on to the Rams? Then we make it 21-10 at halftime, and it's like, all right, got a little momentum. But I mean, Dallas's offensive line right now, they could have one of the best offensive lines in football. I mean, they've built it through the draft. I think 3 out of the last 4 years in the first round, they've taken an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. You got probably one of the best left tackles in Tyrone Smith. I guess their right guard or left guard, because you got Zach Martin over there at right guard. But I mean, they're young, they're coming together. So you kind of see good things out of that offensive line for a long time. Now, right now, Tony Romo's not playing his best, but this is still kind of like the preseason to him because he was injured. He didn't get to play a lot in the preseason.
Right.
But if DeMarco Murray keeps running the ball the way he's running, then Tony Romo can actually turn himself into a game manager, which would be awesome because Dallas has enough weapons as far as Dez Bryant, Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, Jason Witt, and Gavin Escobar, the tight end spot. But they have enough weapons, especially in the running game, where they can allow Tony Romo to be a game manager and not like in the past to where he's had to go out and win games.
Yeah.
And their defense isn't as horrible as people expected at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to get too excited because 2-1. They've been 2-1, I think, the last 4 years in a row, and they finished 8-8.
Right.
So I'm not gonna get too excited and all of a sudden say we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're a playoff team because we've been here before, and our heart's been broken before. But I do like the way they're running the ball, and I think their defense looks decent so far. Secondary's terrible. Morris Claiborne, he needs to be shown the door.
Yeah, he kind of showed himself the door a little bit, but I did hear that he came back.
He did.
He did come back and has to earn his job back from Skandrick. But, yeah, I mean, it's so funny to me, as much of a rivalry between the Redskins and the Cowboys over the years and the fans and how much they despise either team, it's pretty much the same boat for both teams. I mean, it's for some reason you have fans that just go nuts when something good happens for each team, and it's like, oh, we're Super Bowl bound. It's going to change. I mean, that is like getting ready to go on a date with a hot girl and saying to yourself, oh, we're getting married. It's going to be great. And then she doesn't go out with you on that second date. It's just complete downhill from there. I mean, depression, cookies and ice cream. It's just awful.
Oh, I like cookies and ice cream.
I do. They're good, but it will ruin your life. All right, what about the Giants, though? Because they came back and actually won a game. Thought they were going to go pretty much 0-16 for the season.
They've got a tough schedule coming up, so they need to get wins while they can. Eli looked decent. He actually looked like somewhat of an NFL quarterback. Victor Cruz, don't know where he'd been at. I don't think he had scored in like his last 10-plus games.
Yeah.
He had a good game. I had him on one of my one-week fantasy-type leagues.
Which is the only place you should ever put him on a
Pick 3 plus.
Ever.
Pick 3 plus under 3frostedmugs.com.
Yep.
So they actually look like a decent team. Another thing that I was surprised about is the 49ers. All of a sudden got pass happy, just coming out running 5 wide receivers, just coming out and just totally abandoned the run. I mean, Colin Kaepernick had 13 carries and led the team. Frank Gore only had 6 carries, I think 1 in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what 49er football is all about. They need to come out, and I think I'm going to see it this week. They're going to come out. They need to run the ball a lot. I mean, they got a stud. I mean, he's a little old, but they got a stud in Frank Gore. He's still running good. He's healthy. Mm-hmm. Carlos Hyde right behind him. They need to run the ball, take a little pressure off Kaepernick, and not have him having to go out and throw 37 times a game. That's not what he's built for. It's not what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised that all of a sudden, especially being a game you figured they had to win. They're 1-1. Now they went to 1-2. I mean, so you figure you really don't want to fall below 500, especially in that division with the Arizona Cardinals being 3-0, leading the division. I was real surprised about what they decided to do on offense then.
Talk a little bit more about that with the Arizona Cardinals, because they are looking down at the top of their division.
Yeah, right now the Arizona Cardinals are 3-0. I mean,
you called it.
Now I said that. I mean,
you did.
The one thing that's impressed me too is Drew Stanton, come in there, and all of a sudden, he's won a couple games for him. And he hadn't come out and wowed everybody, but he's come out and won ball games they needed to win.
Yeah.
So they're sitting on top of the division right now. I mean, there's a long way to go, but I still like them to win the division. I'm not going to back off that. Carson Palmer will be coming back. I mean, I think that team just understands what a team is supposed to do and how a team is supposed to play. Bruce Arians, he's a great coach. We saw what he did last year. They went 10-6, but missed the playoffs. But they got a test coming up. They come back off a bye week, and so does Denver, and they go to Denver to play. Very tough game. Then they play Washington, Oakland, Philly, Dallas, St. Louis, Detroit. I mean, so they've got except for maybe Oakland in there and St. Louis, they've got a tough stretch coming up. I mean, they end the season at home against Seattle and at San Francisco. You talk about two big games, to end the season. But I like what I'm seeing right now. I still like them to win the division as long as they continue to play good defense. They're fourth against the run, middle of the road against the pass, but they just play good team. They find a way to win ball games.
Well, a couple games I want to bring up real quick. The Ravens versus the Browns. The Browns have really displayed kind of the same thing I was talking about with the Redskins, have displayed promise. They've displayed a growth that could occur. Brian Hoyer's performing real well. They're trying to find ways to fit Johnny Manziel in there. They threw a pass to him over this past weekend. It was brought back due to the fact that the running back wasn't lined up correctly or didn't get down in time. Yeah. And actually, they were doing a review I was watching about that play because it's not a play you see very often. I mean, you've got Shanahan talking to Johnny Manziel on the sideline, acting as though he's telling him something. All of a sudden, breaks for a pass.
Yeah.
Apparently, I just learned that you can't be if you're within the 32-yard hash marks on either side, you can't be closer than 5 yards to the sideline. So that would have been illegal formation, 15-yard play. But nonetheless, they're really surprising a lot of people.
And it took the Ravens a late drive. I think it was the last second field goal to win that game. Mm-hmm. The Browns are not a bad team. They're not a great team, but they're not. Conway had anointed them doo-doo at the beginning of the year, which, on paper, you looked at it and you were like, okay, this team is going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
But they're actually playing pretty decent ball right now. They've got a bye week this week, go to Tennessee, winnable ball game. Then you got Pittsburgh, then Jacksonville, Oakland, Tampa Bay. They could win all three of those games. So what are they, 1-2 now? They come back and be 2-2, 2-3. They could be 5-3 going into Cincinnati, and then
that's a tough game. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is real tough.
But look at Terrence West. He's been doing great. Andrew Hawkins. Where did that guy come from? He's just been catching balls left and right.
Yeah, they've.
And he's only been limited by his quarterback, to be honest with you. There are some big plays that he could have made had it not been for just ball placement. But, Brian Hoyer, what are you going to do? It's Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer, he's looking decent, though. He's doing okay.
And before we end this segment, I would like to give a little shout-out to the Raiders. I'm so sorry, guys. I guess whatever premonition I had about you meant that you were going to be awful, because I don't know how you're going to win a single game. Hopefully, just the time change in England will be a factor for you against who are they playing this week in England? They're playing
Miami.
Is it Miami?
Yeah,
Dolphins and the Raiders. So
we could, you definitely cursed them. So you should apologize.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, MJD. I'm sorry, Run DMC.
You caused MJD to break his hand.
I did not mean to do that.
Yes, you did.
I swear. It's because I drafted him.
We could, if you want, after break. You want to go over our power rankings? Top 5 power rankings?
Yeah, when we come back from this break, we'll go over our top 5 power rankings after week 3, and we'll go into some other topics as well. So please stick with us. We'll be right back.
Yep.
And we are back for segment 2 of the 3 Frosted Mugs. Thank you for sticking around. And we were talking in the last segment, doing a little recap about our biggest surprises and takeaways from Week 3 NFL games. Now what we'd like to go into is I want to hear, Chad, your power rankings after 3 weeks of NFL football.
My power rankings.
Yeah, that was my borderline Chris Berman impression there.
A little Nick Nolte maybe mixed in there.
A little bit. I did just watch the tail end of Blue Chips, so.
Yeah, maybe later on you can, the last speech from Nick Nolte?
The final speech? I think it was a fully loaded Lexus we gave him. That's just part of it.
I do. Shaq's name was Neon Badeau, I think.
Neon Badeau, yeah. Yeah, Neon didn't even want the car. But we gave it to him anyway. Now it's Richard Nixon.
We got, what was Ricky something? Penny Hardaway. Remember his name in there?
Geez Louise. Wait. There was the country white boy.
Ricky something, I think.
That's Perry. Is that Perry Hardaway? Is that no?
Penny. Well, Matt, can you IMDb Blue Chips?
Put us up a photo up here because we want to. But you remember the country boy who got the tractor and bag of $30,000, right? Yeah,
that's what he wanted, the tractor.
And for some reason, just $30,000. I think it was $30,000. Wasn't very much.
Cold hard cash.
It's a classic movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you don't like vulgar words, don't watch it because Nick Nolte has one of the most vulgar mouths in that movie.
It's got Jay
ever.
Pritchett in there.
Jay Pritchett. Oh, yeah, it does. Ed O'Neill. Yeah. Sorry. I know a couple Pritchetts, so I was like, who?
Jay, is that his brother?
Yeah, Al Bundy. Al Bundy. He's on there as well. Plays an investigative reporter.
Oh, what was his name? Ed O'Neill was Ed. Shaq was Neon Badeau. Penny Hardaway. Butch McRae. Gosh, Ricky Rowe. Okay.
Now, that was the boy that they bought the house for his mom, right? In that movie?
Yep. That was Butch McRae. All right, enough blue chip talk.
Oh, we'll come back to blue chip talk.
We can.
It's classic.
All right, so my power ranking, I'll give my top 5, but then I have one other team that's on the outside looking in.
Oh, okay, I like it. Outside on the window in the cold.
I'll start from that team, matter of fact.
All right.
My team on the outside looking in is the San Diego Chargers.
I like that.
I think San Diego's a tough team. I mean, they're 2-1 right now. What better way to get going even more is to play at home against Jacksonville?
Well, you know who their only loss is to, right?
Who did they lose to?
I believe Arizona.
Oh, yeah. What was I thinking? I think that was like week 1.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's the only reason you have them on the outside looking in. Otherwise.
And speaking of Arizona, that is my team that is at number 5.
Look at that.
I know. I had them. They're my team, but I have to put them at number 5. I have to be realistic. The Cardinals, again, every reason that I mentioned earlier, they're just a good football team. They're fine. I mean, they're not blowing people out, but they're finding a way to win games. They're coming back. They're doing everything they need to do. And they're looking good here lately with Drew Stanton. So I've got them at number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Philly's tough. I mean, anytime you have an offense that good, it's just going to – and they have a somewhat decent defense – they're going to be tough to beat because you're going to have to go in there and score 24-plus points a game at least to beat them. So I've got them at number 4. Number 3, 2 and 1 could probably be interchanged, I guess, in any position. But number 3, I've put the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Cincinnati is real tough. They look real tough at home. I mean, they held down the Falcons to virtually nothing after the Falcons scored 40-plus points in week 1 and then 56 this previous week. So, I mean, that alone keeps them in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Denver Broncos. I mean, it was the same old song and dance you thought at the beginning of the, Denver at Seattle. It's a tough place to play. They went in there. They didn't look good at all through 3.5 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning brings them back on a late drive. Then they score the 2-point conversion to tie it up, and then the defense just couldn't stop them. Couldn't at least hold them to a field goal to give Peyton a chance.
I think there's an asterisk there. I mean, I'm not an expert, but the overtime rules, according to Peyton, and I trust Peyton Manning. If Peyton Manning says something about football, I trust his judgment.
Know, this is now what I think, what Peyton Manning thinks.
Well, Peyton Manning was saying that the way the rules are right now, that coin toss for the overtime, I mean, that's like gold. So. And if I'm not mistaken, the way it is now, right, each team has one opportunity to score on the first drive. Is that correct?
If you score a field goal, the other team gets the ball.
Okay.
But if you score a touchdown first, it's over.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, Denver's defense. I mean, it just looked like everything was going in Denver's way, and then they just couldn't even. And I think Seattle, ran the same play every play. I think they run Percy Harvin across the line. I don't know what play it is. I mean, I don't know what the name of the play is because I never played football. But they run Percy Harvin across the line of scrimmage on like a little wide receiver, little flanker pass, whatever you call it, and picked up about 12 yards every time.
Yeah. I mean,
he's stupid.
You just got to get the ball in his hands. He'll get you 10 and 12.
Yeah. So I've got Denver at number 2, Seattle at number 1. I'm not taking Seattle out of the number 1 spot. I mean, they played a tough team. The Denver Broncos, they did what they had to do to win. I think this league is still Cincinnati. I mean, still Seattle's right now. I'm not taking them out of number 1 spot.
I like it.
So that's my top 6. Who do you have? You got yourself some power rankings?
I agree with everything you just said. I quite honestly, I wouldn't change a thing that you just said. I mean, I might put Arizona a little higher on that list as far as, maybe put them at 3. Seattle... I mean, yeah, the thing is, as much as I love Brian Bosworth and as much as I love Coach Carroll, I just don't I just constantly choose against them. I don't want to believe that they're that good because it seems to me like a really good college team broke into the NFL. The way it's all run, the hoorah, the whole 12th man, all of that.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like I'm watching a college game. It should be on Saturday.
Everybody's drinking the Pete Carroll Kool-Aid.
Hey, you know what? If it works, it works.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes motivation's all you need, right?
It's 1-on-1 ring so far.
It's all about attitude.
It's all about attitude.
I'm quoting that little snippet we were watching earlier with that running back. What, Apollo Hester?
Apollo Hester.
Devin Hester's little cousin. Is that right?
Got to be.
I'm going to start a rumor.
Are you going to tweet it?
Yeah. All right. Well, that was. I
would tweet it, but I've got like 4 followers. So. I don't think those 4 people care.
Well, I've got about 80, and about 35 of them are some sort of bot that's been created to follow me around.
That's funny.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our power rankings, and then. Oh, want to move into something pretty awesome that's going on in the area here.
Anything awesome's good.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this for a minute. I know you got some things about the upcoming Ryder Cup as well, but let's just talk about the Nats for just a second. Last show we did, they were in position to clinch with, I think, 3 games. Mm-hmm. They ended up clinching that very night, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was the night after. But yeah, somewhere very close.
Against the Braves. So they've clinched their division. They're division champs. My hat's on order, waiting for it to come in the mail. And then also what they're playing for this week would be home field advantage for first round of the playoffs.
They'd have the best record in the National League. I think they need a win and the Dodgers need a loss.
I think that's how it goes. I think
that's what clinches that. Well, no, there's not many games left.
It's either that both have to happen, or either one or the other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just want to say congratulations to the Nets because we've been talking about this. Well, not we, but people have been talking about this, in the area for a few years now. Some disappointing ends to some seasons that looked pretty promising, and this looks super promising. And congratulations to their skipper, first year coming in.
92-64 right now.
I mean that's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. So
yeah, let's see how many games they have. I've got it up right now. 1, 2, 6 games left.
Wow.
I mean, you got 2 against, and they're all home games. So you got 2 against the Mets and 4 against the Marlins. So you would figure that they should be able to do their thing and end up with the best record in the NL and have home field.
Here, I'm going to do it with my serious voice. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be postseason baseball in Washington, D.C.
Is that the movie guy voice?
That's the movie voice. In a world where the Nats have clinched their division.
That's the world we're in.
1 man and 9 players. That's Mike Williams and the players. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little carried away there.
Did you say Mike Williams?
Oh, I did say that, didn't I? Matt Williams, sorry. Mike's cousin Matt.
In a world where Mike is Matt.
Where Mike is Matt. My bad.
That's okay. We'll give you a pass.
Thank you. And you, all right. Awesome event coming up in the golf world.
Yep, Ryder Cup week. Next to the majors. Ryder Cup's next best thing in golf. So starts off Friday. I think it's format. You do 4-ball in the morning, foursome in the afternoon. Same thing on Saturday. Then it's all about singles on Sunday.
This sounds like my weekend.
You wish.
I do wish it was my weekend. Again, I'm so sorry, Matt Williams. I feel like such a jerk right now. Although I know you're not going to watch our show.
Matt Williams will never listen to this show again.
He won't.
And he was an avid listener. He was. But the USA, I mean, they've got a stacked team, I think. I mean, you got some veteran leadership and Jim Furyk.
Why don't you name off some key players there? Some key golfers.
I'll name off the team.
Hey, let's do that. Let's do the whole team.
And then we'll have to name off the European team.
Oh, wow. Can I do that part? Because I'll say it in a European voice.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to do an American voice when I do the American.
What site are you on right now?
Oh, God. Just Google 2014 European.
That's how we do the whole show. We just Google everything.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea where I'm at right now. All right. Tom Watson is the captain. I'll name the veterans off. You got Jim Furyk, Zach Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson. I mean, I think we'll put them under veterans. You know, a couple other guys. I mean, then you got Keegan Bradley, Ricky Fowler, Kuchar. You can probably put him under the veteran. Mahan, young guy Patrick Reed, young guy Spieth. You got Jimmy Walker, Webb Simpson. So, I mean, that team right there just seems stacked. And then your vice captains, your captain's Tom Watson. Then you got Raymond Floyd, Andy North, and Steve Stricker.
There's so many people at home going right now. What? Who are those people?
What's the Ryder Cup?
Webb Simpson? Is that a law firm?
Webb Simpson, Watson, and Walker.
All right. Okay. Well, and here's the team they're going to be facing off against.
You're going to do it in the European voice?
I guess
the movie guy. You could do Chris Berman.
I could do
pick
Chris
a guy.
Berman.
You can do some guy we've never heard of. You got Jeff that owns a violin shop. What's his name?
Jeff. Who's Jeff?
What's his name? The guy that owns a violin that does all of our music. Yeah.
Oh, that's Adam.
You know a guy? Adam. You can do an Adam's voice if you want.
I don't think I could do Adam's voice. To be honest with you, he's got so much energy. He just starts laughing hysterically because he's so excited about whatever he's talking about. I guess I could do it that way. Team Europe. Sorry. All right, let's get into this. Ryder Cup European team profiles. European team captain, Paul McGinley. European team, Thomas Bjorn.
And
Thomas Bjorn. Jamie Donaldson. Victor Dubuisson. How do you say his last name?
Dubuisson.
Victor Dubuisson. Stefan Gallagher. Sergio Garcia. Martin Keimer, Graham McDowell, Rory McIlroy, Ian Poulter, Justin Rose, Henrik Stenson. You might know Henrik Stenson from his angry outburst and breaking his club over his knee, I believe during the U.S. Open. Does that sound about right?
That's that guy.
I think it was the U.S. Open. Followed up by Lee Westwood, who could easily be a UFC fighter. Lee Westwood is one of the most jacked golfers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
We have European team vice captains Des Smith, spelled with a Y.
Yeah.
Sam Torrance, Jose Maria Alezabal,
Olafable,
Padraig Harrington, and my personal favorite, Miguel Angel Jimenez. I love Miguel Angel Jimenez. I've never seen a cooler golfer in my life. I love the stretches he does. I love the giant cigar he smokes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I like to think he drinks an espresso as soon as he wakes up, takes a nice hot shower, does no exercise at all, and steps out on the golf course and kills it.
He drinks a lot of wine.
Probably while he's playing.
Wine connoisseur.
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind.
But I'm going to predict that the U.S. wins. Shocker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think they need... Since Europe has it now, they need like 14 points to retain it, but we need 14.5 points to regain it. So I'm going to predict that we beat them. I'm going to predict we get 15.5 points, barely winning. And I'm going to say Bubba Watson with the clinching putt.
I like it.
To win the Ryder Cup.
I like it. I like Bubba. I like it. I mean, I guess that's just a testament to how good each team really is. It's both teams have really good golfers on either side.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I mean, because you got to figure it's the best of the best that the USA has, and the best that the European has, and everybody that's on this team is playing really good at the moment. So this to a lot of guys, most of the guys, is just like a major, just that much intensity. So they're putting their all into it, and everybody wants to win. I mean, it's almost like an Olympic sport. You're playing for your country. And there's there's millions and millions of people watching.
And this starts Thursday.
This starts Friday.
Friday.
Their morning 4-ball, afternoon foursome. So it's pretty much all day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I know where you're going to be.
I'll be right on my couch watching golf. All right, I'll probably be cutting grass, but
in between.
Yeah,
in between. So if you get a chance, definitely put that on the screen. Support USA. I am. Hats in the mail. I'm not getting a hat. All right.
Sure you are.
We're going to wrap up the second segment here. We'll be back with the third segment. We'll jump into some top stories around sports and a couple other things. And then also give you our predictions for the upcoming NFL games for Week 4. So stick around, grab a water. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. And welcome back for the final segment of our show today. Thank you for sticking with us. We are going to go over our picks for this coming NFL week.
Yeah, I think it's tough for me to stand upright. I've got a lot of cold and flu medicine in my system.
That is true.
If I fall asleep here, just kind of throw something at me, nudge me, throw your phone at me.
Oh, I got you. No worries. As you'll notice, we don't have our delicious brew with us today. Chad's immune system is depleted, and
I can't do it.
We don't want to make him feel any worse than he already does. So my alcoholism will have to suffer.
I'm sorry for halting your alcoholism.
I mean, I was trying to, what is it, the hair of the dog? I was trying to get that going again.
Yeah, sometimes you got to.
But I actually didn't even bring a beverage because I was looking forward to the beer. But nonetheless,
well, you had a smoothie, but you downed that sucker in like
it was
3
so
minutes.
delicious. It was so good and healthy.
Very healthy.
Very healthy. All right, look, Chad, I'm going to pull up the games for this coming week schedule here, and we're going to go through them, and I want to hear
my picks. I don't know what we did last week. We didn't bring our Conway had written it down, so we don't have what our picks are. I know it wasn't good. I think I was like maybe 7 and probably 7 and 9, maybe.
Well, I can tell you, I definitely picked the Packers. I definitely picked the Raiders. I definitely picked the 49ers. Yeah, I did pretty bad, I believe.
Well, I do know I'm 2-2 with my super thirsty pick. I did have the Colts giving up 6.5. Against the Jacksonville, and they definitely covered that. So my super thirsty picks, I'm 2-0 so far.
And that's all that really matters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah, everything else, whatever.
And I'm actually looking at last week's schedule because those games are over.
All right, well, I'll start the first one off. It's Thursday night.
Yeah.
The Giants at Washington.
I'm going to this game, by the way.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Stadium should be pretty loud. Big division game.
Both teams 1 and 2.
Got the Redskins giving up 4. I think in this game, I like Washington to win, but I like the Giants with the number. 27-24, Redskins. Washington wins, Giants cover. The over-under in that game is 46. I like the over. I think that, 27-24, obviously it's 51 points. So I like the over big time in that game. It may even be like last week's game. Maybe like a 37-34, 34-31 type game. But again, I like Washington to win, the Giants to cover.
I am going to say that Washington wins and the Giants do not cover. I'm going to say it's 27-21 Washington.
You got Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right, the next game, you got your schedule up yet?
Yeah, oh yeah. Packers at Bears. So that's another division game, correct?
Yep. Packers at Bears. I'm going to go with it's a pick'em game. Pick -1 game. I'm going to take Chicago. Green Bay. I'm still not sold on Green Bay yet.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears look like they're playing good ball. The Packers are still trying to find their way. I like Chicago to win that game. I like that game to be like a 23-17 game. I like the Bears to win it outright, cover. I'm going to take the Bears.
I'm going to go with you along as well because although I do believe the Bears have played slightly sloppy, I think they can do better. I think that they've still got a lot of upside. The Packers, I have no explanation. Thanks a lot, Olivia Munn.
It's all her fault.
It's all her fault. But yeah,
we need to find out who Eddie Lacy's dating because it could be her fault. Why he was terrible
she
last
dating him
week.
too? It quite be that.
What a hooah. Do I smell a hole? I'm just kidding, Louie. Yeah, I know you're probably listening.
Yeah.
It's just a bad
We're
bit.
just joking.
It's a
I
bad
like the
bit.
newsroom. It's
you
a good
can
show.
come on this show.
Yeah, please feel free. All right, so I'm going with the Bears as well. And you said that's a pick'em game, so there's nothing to cover, right?
All right, two Chicago's.
All right, so we're going Buffalo comes down to Texas.
Buffalo down to Texas. I got Houston giving up 3 points at home. Be prepared for my super thirsty pick of the week.
Ooh.
I like the Buffalo Bills getting 3. I like Buffalo to win this game outright. Dink and Dunk Fitzpatrick. I mean, that's exactly what he is. Dink and Dunk Fitzpatrick. They're going to lose this ball game. I like Buffalo. Fred Jackson's playing good. C.J. Spitler's just kind of putting along. Sammy Watkins is doing his thing. Aaron Foster is questionable. So obviously if he doesn't play, I like Buffalo even more. But I like Buffalo to win this game outright. I like for it to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to call it like an 18-13 game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, something odd.
Sounds really boring.
And I'm going to take Buffalo to win this ball game outright. And that's my super thirsty pick of the week.
Well, I'm going to take that advice and go along with you, and I'm choosing the Bills as well. They've been one of the more surprising teams of this season, and the way Houston hasn't played as awful and as terrible as people felt like they might, especially with their quarterback situation. Although a fantastic beard, Fitzpatrick. I mean, probably one of the best.
Him and Kiesel from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they should have a
tied.
beard off. They should definitely, like, their beard arm wrestling or something. But yeah, I'm going with the Bills in this
That seems
matchup.
to me, like, just picturing that seems to me too close to seeing them kiss. Like, how would you do a beard
Well, you'd have to
wrestling?
grow
I
the
don't
chin
know.
out a little bit more, form a hand, so it'd be like
You know what you could do? They could grow the beard out.
Mm-hmm.
Tie it to one another's beard.
tug of war. I like it.
Whoever's beard holds up.
How strong are your follicles? That's it. Yeah.
I'll take Kiesel in that one.
I think
You
I
want
would
to take
too.
Kiesel giving up 3 strands?
He's got some weight on him. It's
He's definitely the favorite.
All right, so moving into
So you got Buffalo too. 2 Buffaloes.
Yeah, Buffalo. Tennessee Titans visiting the Colts, who just won their first game of the season.
Titans and the Colts. Colts playing at home. Tennessee, Jake Locker's questionable. The Colts are giving up 7 here. I mean, it's a division game. I usually hate giving up a touchdown. That line could go up even more if Jake Locker's out. I think the Colts found something last week playing a bad Jags team. I don't think Tennessee's that great of a team. Playing at home. The Colts are 1-2. They need to get to 2-2. I think they win this game big. I think they win this game 31-20. I'll take the Colts cover and lay in the number.
I'm going along with the Colts as well. I know Tennessee's run defense is questionable. Ahmad has been on fire.
You hope Ahmad does.
I hope Ahmad does well. I mean, I think with that addition, they've actually become a more well-rounded team between their passing and their running. I mean, they have Andrew Luck, for God's sakes, and then
Is your elbow okay? I think our
Reggie
producer
Wayne.
just broke. I didn't mean to cut you. I think our producer just broke his elbow.
I saw something out of the
You all right?
peripheral. I'm good.
Okay.
All right, good. As long as you're okay.
Sorry, I just thought we had to stop the show
Don't
and take
blame
him
on
to
the
the
equipment.
hospital.
Oh, mercy.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going along with you as far as the Colts.
Okay.
Let's see. Panthers are heading to Baltimore to play the Ravens.
I mentioned earlier, I like Joe Flacco as one of my fantasy studs this week. I think him and Steve Smith are going to have a big game. Steve Smith's going to have something to prove. He's out to play for something. I think they're going to get him going early. I think they're going to get him going often. I like the Ravens. They're laying a field goal at home. I like the Ravens to cover this ball game.
All right. Well, the Panthers, I had them beating Pittsburgh last week, and that did not happen. Baltimore, they're just so iffy to me. They could, tear a team up, but I feel like they usually keep their games pretty close. What's the spread again?
The Ravens are giving up a field goal, 3 points.
3 points. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Ravens can pull it out, but, maybe by a point or 2.
Okay.
All right.
So you're seeing even if you said Ravens may win, but it may be like a 21-20 game. 22,
Yeah, very similar
something like
to
last week's when they played when they played Cleveland.
Yeah, it's going to come down to a field goal, but it's not going to. It's going to give them like a 2-point lead or 1-point lead
If they do it, okay, I got you.
Okay, so Lions heading into New York to play the Jets, or I guess New Jersey, really. But
And this is a game. This is a game where I would typically stay away from if you're going to do anything. Because Detroit, they want to break your heart. They play good one week just to break your heart the next week. I'm not sold on the Jets. I don't think the Jets are a terrible football team. I'm just not sold on them. Calvin Johnson just had an average game. Well, for him, just an average game last week. I'm probably going to say this a lot, but I think Calvin Johnson's going to have a huge game this week. You just look what Alshon Jeffrey just did to the Jets. I mean, he didn't have a huge game, but he had a really good game, and he's not 100%. So I'm going to take the Lions on the road, giving up 2 points, and I'm going to take the Lions to win that ball game.
I'm going along with that thought as well. I think even more along the line for the Jets, not so much talent, not so much Geno, nothing like that. I think it's more management. I feel like they are just like a complete debacle sometimes, even with their sideline management. I mean, and I'm referring to the icing of their own team from week 2, I believe.
Yeah.
And I mean, that right there just tells me is that they're not all on the same page, and that's a problem.
Exactly.
That's a big problem. If you got a problem in the upper management, you're going to have a problem on the field. Simple as that. So I'm going with the Lions in that game.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers riding in, heads high, to play the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Man, I picked Tampa last week, and they almost covered. They were like 40-some points away from covering. So, I mean, they were really close. You got Glennon in there this week. Glennon's, I'm going to say, a little step up from McCown. They're on the road against Pittsburgh. I mean, I think Pittsburgh's going to have. I mean, I like Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown to have a really big week. But I'm going to take, because I think the public, and I think a lot of times when you go against, you get the whole public that's taking one side, the other side usually hits.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of go against the public. I think the public's probably going to be laying a lot, with the Steelers. I'm going to take Tampa Bay again this week. I'm going to take Tampa getting 8 on the road. I think Pittsburgh going to pull it off. I think it's going to be like a 26-20 game. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win, but I'm going to take Buccaneers getting the 8 points.
Okay.
Lovey, do not do it to me again.
Man, yeah, I just feel like last week was a fluke, and I feel like if Lovey is doing what I think he's doing, he's focusing on their special teams for sure, and he's focusing on their defense, because, I mean, that was just it was embarrassment. It was a big embarrassment. Being, like we said, being a defensive-minded coach, to have that happen to you.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, I mean, they seem to have an okay flow going with one another. Roethlisberger's, I mean, he's always finding that extra few opportunities when you think he's down and he's not. He slips away and gets the pass off to Antonio Brown or what have you. So I'm going to go with the Steelers, though, in this fact, just to be opposite of you.
There you go.
Yeah. Because I have no good reasoning for either. I mean, I just can't imagine that they're going to go in and put 60 points up on the Buccaneers.
Well, to go against me is a good enough reason. Especially with my record lately.
All right, now we got an overseas game here. The Dolphins and the Raiders have headed across the pond over to England to play over there.
Yeah, the Raiders are terrible. I don't know how they hung with the Patriots this past week.
Man, I wanted that to happen so bad.
Yeah, and maybe the Patriots, maybe we're just so caught up right now. I mean, the Patriots are winning, but maybe we're just so caught up that in name alone, maybe the Patriots aren't the Patriots that we're used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami, there's all this talk about Philbin wouldn't name Tannehill a starter, yet Tannehill's getting all first-team reps. Matt Moore's not getting any reps, is what I saw on Twitter earlier.
Yeah, and I have heard that he actually can't. They told the players that Tannehill will be playing. Public still is saying he hasn't picked one, but Tannehill is supposed to be starting.
Tannehill has played good. His I think it was Schlereth or somebody that put on Twitter. Somebody asked him, what they thought about Tannehill, and he was like, "Well, Tannehill, it's not his problem that his receivers have hands like feet." So Tannehill has thrown some good balls. They have a lot of drops. I'd like to see a stat or something of where they're at as far as they're probably close to leading the league in drops.
Mm-hmm.
Tannehill's been playing good. They're going to get Lamar Miller going. I'm going to take Miami. I took him. I lost with him. I had him against the Chiefs last week. I'm going to lay the 3.5 overseas across the pond to beat the Raiders. I'm going to take the Dolphins, giving up 3.5.
I'm going to go with the Raiders, and I think they're going to play so well. I think they're going to play so well, they're going to decide to stay in England and start a foreign NFL league over there with the Raiders. They're going to become the Liverpool Raiders.
The Liverpool Raiders. Maybe they might have a better chance if they tried to play soccer in their uniforms.
That is true.
McFadden would probably be a good soccer player. He might hold up longer as
I
a
wonder
soccer
how
player.
MJD would do as a soccer player.
He's too squat. He should stay a running back.
You should stay a running back,
squatty.
MJD.
Yeah.
You're not a good soccer player.
Yeah.
All right, we've got the Jaguars, the very sad, pitiful Jaguars, heading into San Diego to play the Chargers.
San Diego giving up 13. It's almost 2 touchdowns, in the NFL game. For me, I think like week 1 when we first did this, I took a team that was giving up. I think it was 13.5 points. Shocker, lost that one. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to say, again, I think the Chargers win this game. I think they probably win by around 9 or 10 points. I'm going to say Blake Bortles comes in, looks pretty decent. My favorite rookie that I had coming in, wide receiver, Allen Robinson, he looks to be a little healthy. Maybe him and Bortles, he had a good game. Mm-hmm. Maybe him and Bortles might be figuring a little something out together. I'm going to say Allen Robinson has a big game, but I'm going to say the Chargers just pull away late. Maybe even a backdoor cover from Jacksonville, but I'm going to take Jacksonville getting the 13.
I'm going to go with you on this one. I think Blake Bortles is going to make a difference in this offense. And, like Hearns is another one that,
undrafted.
And, of course, Marquise Lee, which we haven't seen very much as far as production from him. But
a little here, a little there, not much.
Yeah, but I'm going to go along with the Jags. They keep it close. Overall, the Chargers are going to win, though. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Eagles heading to San Francisco.
I'm just making sure I'm looking at this line right. I have San Francisco, excuse me, San Francisco giving up 4.5 at home against Philly. I mean, that line stinks. I mean, this is another one where usually I go against the public because it seems like to me that everybody is going to jump on Philly getting 4.5 on the road, especially the way San Francisco, the way they kind of played last week. But I can't do it. So I can't take the 49ers because I can't do it. I've got to take Philly. I'm going to lose with the public on this one. I'm going to take Philly getting the 4.5. I can't get away from that one.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the 49ers on this one. I think they go back to the run. I think the Eagles aren't able to contain the run. And from there, I just think that the 49ers are going to take it to the Eagles, and this is going to be one of those few games that the Eagles can't come back from in the second half. So,
okay.
Yes, I'm going with the 49ers.
I do like that rational. I think the 49ers need to get back to running the ball.
Mm-hmm. Which, we saw in week 2, the Eagles had a difficult time containing. I don't know what the hell was happening week 3, but still. All right, so we've got the mighty Falcons flying up to Minnesota. A little opposite North for winter situation,
Yep, I like, let's see, the Falcons are laying 3 on the road to a Vikings team who's going to have Matt Castle's out.
Teddy Bridgewater in.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, he's taking over the wheel. It's his team. Rudolph's out. That's taking away a weapon they have. But I think a lot of people are going to just see that small number of them just giving up 3 on the road. I think the public's just going to jump on Atlanta hard. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm taking Minnesota to win this game outright. Teddy Bridgewater's going to come in. Again, I wasn't big on him, coming into the league. Still not real huge on him. But as Conway says, there's not a lot of tape on him.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to find Greg Jennings. I said earlier a lot. I think they're going to try to get the ball to Cordarrelle Patterson a lot. They need to find ways to get him involved in the offense. But I'm going to take the Vikings +3 at home.
And this is Norv Turner's offense, right?
This is Norv Turner's offense.
I'm going with you, man. I think that the Falcons, they're too tumultuous. You don't know what they're going to be each week. And they have, like last week, just blowouts. And then they have games where there just doesn't even appear like they're playing like they could. So, so I'm going with the Vikings as well on this one. All right, we've got the Saints are marching into Dallas. You like my little puns?
Yep. I've taken them, I think, every week. I've been right most of the time against the number. Again, the Saints are only giving up 3 going into Dallas. Dallas' secondary is doo-doo. Morris Claiborne, I think, kind of getting him out, taking him away from his starting job. Hopefully that's going to light a little fire underneath of him. Mm-hmm. I think Sterling Moore is going to come in as that nickel corner. I think these guys are going to realize, hey, you're not just going to come in here and just pick up a paycheck. You need to come in here and play, or you're going to be sitting down. I think Dallas runs the ball a lot. I think Dallas runs the ball well against the Saints. I'm not 100% sold on the Saints. I think Dallas wins this game outright. Shocker. So I'm taking Dallas plus the 3.
I'm going to take the Saints. That's it.
That's it. No need to explain.
That's all I need. That's Sunday night's game. That's going to be a pretty good game Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be real good, even though I get up really early on Monday morning.
Oh, that's true.
I'm going to try to watch most of it.
Oh, Lord. That's true. Well, maybe you'll get enough rest from being ill that you'll be plenty well rested for that evening. Hopefully you're not sick that long. That would be terrible.
I hope
it's only Wednesday.
Golly,
I forget that.
I can't take it.
All right, Monday night's game, final game of the week. The Patriots are going into Kansas City against the Chiefs. This is interesting to me because both teams have always a lot of buzz at the beginning, especially last season when they came back from the Chiefs, came back from such an awful season the year previous. And then they come back and they're undefeated for how many games straight was that? It was almost double digits
when they started the season off. I think it was
last season.
I think it was 9-0.
Okay, so 9. Yeah, all right. So they were 9-0 last season. So everyone had a bunch of high hopes for them coming into this season, and they just seem to have run into some issues. I mean, Jamal Charles being injured, Dwayne Bowe was suspended for I think the first 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
One game, I think. It was his first game.
One game, and Alex Smith, I don't know what it is. He's missing something, but anyway, what are your thoughts?
Man, the Patriots, I don't know if again, like I said earlier, if they're just the Patriots by name, or if they're, if we're just giving them too much credit because of that. Jamal Charles is questionable. Niall Davis did look good. I wish I could say this game's going to be a push, because I think it's going to be a really, really close game. I'm going to take the Chiefs. The last few picks I'll take the points in this. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to explain this game. I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right.
That's it, Rodney.
Hey, that's fine with me. You definitely can do that. You definitely do that. Yeah, and that was the other thing I was getting to with New England Patriots, because it's not like that team where you're like, oh, they're definitely going to win.
Yeah.
They're going to roll right in there and win. And quite honestly, I don't know if the Bill Belichick's motivational speeches are doing it for him anymore. Hey guys, we really got to get out there and we really got to do something.
Yeah,
we got to put it together. They're 1-2 or 2-1. Let's be 3-1. That's about it. That's what I got for you.
It's run its course, huh?
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs as well. I hope to see better performances out of Alex Smith. I want to see. Who is even in their wide receiving core other than Dwayne Bowe? Dexter.
That Kels guy from the tight end.
Yeah. Yes, the Kels guy. Okay. But other than that, who do they like?
Nobody worth mentioning.
McCluster, is he on that?
I think they traded him.
Did they get rid of him?
Else. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know much about the Chiefs.
No, look at that.
But I'm taking them.
I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. I will just say this. The last 3 head-to-head matchups between the Chiefs and the Patriots, 2011, the Patriots won 34-3. 2008, the Patriots won 17-10. And then 2005, the Kansas City Chiefs won 26-16.
That was the last 3 meetings?
That's what I'm seeing here, yeah. That appears to be the last 3 meetings. It's wild when you look at that. It's been that long to have that few of meetings, but yeah, so... So there you go. That's all of our picks for the upcoming NFL week.
My super thirsty pick, the Buffalo Bills, +3.
So mark that down as a super thirsty pick of the week.
Yeah, mark it down. If you're writing down anything, just mark it down.
Write it down. People are taking notes. I'd be taking notes if I was watching.
Let's see. Chad from the 3 Frosted Mugs, Buffalo Bills. In a world where Chad
is giving out fantasy football advice. Well, I guess it's not fantasy. All right. Anyway, that's it for us here. We want to thank you for watching / listening, and we want to thank you for sticking with us through all 3 segments today. Thanks, Matt, for running the equipment for us today. Really appreciate that.
Thanks,
and keeping us on task, which you really didn't. We went off many, many times, but nonetheless, I'm giving you credit where credit is due.
Thanks, buddy.
Please check out our website, www.3frostedmugs.com. There you can find our Fantasy Focus and 3 Frosted Mug episodes, as well as enter your Pick 3 Plus for weekly prizes and a chance at the grand prize at the end of the season. You can tweet us at 3 Frosted Mugs, and that's frosted with no vowels, FRSTD. And you can contact us there or our Facebook page with any questions about fantasy, any of the upcoming games that season, or any thoughts on football you'd like to share with us. Thank you again to AJ Studios for the post-production and graphics work. And until next time, may all your parlay dreams come true.